Himalaya by Michael Palin. Michael Palin's Himalaya is a captivating travelogue that documents his 6-month journey across one of the most breathtaking and complex regions on Earth, the Himalayas. Spanning over 4,800 kilometers, his adventure winds through Pakistan, India, Nepal, Tibet, China, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. It's not just a physical trek through towering mountains but also a cultural exploration of the people, politics, and philosophies that define this extraordinary region. Pakistan. Gateway to the Himalayas, rugged lands, ancient paths, and unfiltered realities. Michael Palin's epic journey into the Himalayas begins in Pakistan, a country where raw geography, deep tradition, and political tension intersect. This first leg is both striking and sobering, a trek through history, identity, and some of the world's most breathtaking and challenging terrain. Khyber Pass and Peshawar, a historic threshold. Palin enters through the legendary Khyber Pass, a mountain corridor steeped in blood and myth. For centuries, this narrow route has been a gateway for traders, invaders, and empires. Today, it's a symbol of resistance and resilience. Armed escorts accompany him through this politically sensitive zone, as tribal laws and national borders remain in quiet conflict. In Peshawar, a city buzzing with energy and steeped in tradition, Palin explores its sprawling markets and centuries-old mosques. The streets are alive with color, noise, and aroma, a sensory storm where traders haggle, children play barefoot, and men sip chai in roadside stalls. But there's also a heaviness here, a sense of tension, of watchful eyes, and the undercurrent of history carved into every alley. Dara Adam Khel, a town of gunsmiths. From Peshawar, Palin travels to Dara Adam Khel, a town infamous for its cottage arms industry. Here, in makeshift workshops, local craftsmen manufacture guns by hand, Kalashnikovs, pistols, and rifles, all assembled with remarkable precision using only simple tools. For Palin, it's both fascinating and disturbing, a surreal marketplace where you can test a weapon before buying it. The juxtaposition is jarring. This isn't a war zone, but a functioning community built around weapons. The people are welcoming, often smiling, proud of their skill. Yet the surroundings hum with quiet menace, and Palin reflects on how power, survival, and culture intertwine in places where the government holds limited sway. Chitral, land of the Kailash. Heading north into the Hindu Kush Mountains, Palin reaches Chitral, a dramatic highland town cradled by snow-capped peaks. The climb itself is treacherous. Narrow roads hug cliffs with no guardrails, and sheer drops into icy valleys test both nerve and vehicle. But the reward is an encounter with one of the most fascinating communities of the journey, the Kailash people. The Kailash are a small ethnic group known for their unique traditions, bright clothing, and animistic beliefs, which sharply contrast with the surrounding Muslim culture. Palin is welcomed into their wooden homes and witnesses their rituals, dances, and laughter. He observes how the Kailash hold onto their identity despite outside pressure and dwindling numbers. Their remote valley feels timeless, a fragile pocket of heritage in a fast-changing world. Shandar Pass and Polo at the roof of the world. The next stage takes Palin to the Shandar Pass, often called the roof of the world, where he attends the highest polo match on Earth, a rugged, no-rules game between teams from Chitral and Gilgit. The field is barren, windswept, and surrounded by 12,000-foot peaks. Spectators climb cliffs to watch, bundled against the cold. This isn't the polished sport of the elite. It's tribal, wild, and deeply rooted in local pride. Horses charge. At full speed, men shout in regional dialects, and victory is a matter of honor. Palin's delight is tempered by altitude sickness, the biting cold, and a sense of awe at how life, even leisure, adapts to this harsh environment. Skardu to Concordia. K2's shadow. Finally, Palin pushes deeper into Baltistan, heading toward the glacier-filled region around Concordia, where 4 of the world's 14 tallest mountains converge, including the majestic K2. This part of the journey tests him physically and emotionally. The air thins, the temperature drops, and each step becomes a struggle. He meets hardy porters and guides whose lives revolve around helping climbers and trekkers navigate these unforgiving peaks. Tents are pitched on icy ground, and meals are sparse. But the rewards are immense. Pristine views of jagged mountains that seem to touch the sky, and an overwhelming sense of insignificance in nature's cathedral. At K2's base camp, Palin reflects not only on the might of the mountains but on the human stories behind them. Climbers who have vanished, porters who live in quiet heroism, and the enduring spirit of people in a place where the land gives nothing easily. Reflections on Pakistan. Pakistan, for Palin, is a land of contrasts. Hospitality coexists with hostility, ancient customs with modern struggles. The majestic beauty of the north stands in stark contrast to the political and military tension that simmers below the surface. It is a land shaped by history, carved by rivers, and ruled by mountains, a beginning that sets the tone for the Himalayan journey ahead. India, a tapestry of faith, conflict, and resilience. India, in Michael Palin's journey, emerges not merely as a country, but as an overwhelming civilizational experience, one that pulses with contradictions, spiritual depth, and a history written in both pain and color. Entering from Pakistan, the transition is sharp, borders guarded, cultures split, yet humanity on both sides continuing in rhythm. Amritsar and the Golden Temple, the pulse of Punjab. Palin first visits Amritsar, home to the sacred Golden Temple, the heart of Sikhism. He joins the thousands of pilgrims and volunteers who maintain the temple's divine energy, walking barefoot along marble paths, listening to hymns floating from the sanctum, and sharing meals at the Langar community kitchen, where everyone eats side by side, regardless of background. It's a powerful moment of spiritual inclusiveness and humility. Yet, just outside the temple lies a painful past, the shadow of colonial oppression and the 1984 tragedy. The contrast between peace inside and political tension outside feels emblematic of modern India. Shimla and Srinagar, colonial echoes and conflict zones. Palin then heads to Shimla, the former summer capital of British India. Nestled in the hills, its Victorian architecture and narrow lanes evoke a ghost of empire, a place where colonial officers once escaped the heat of the plains, now re-inhabited by modern Indian bureaucracy and tourists. From there, he travels to Srinagar, in Kashmir, a land of extraordinary beauty and simmering conflict. Palin stays in a houseboat on Dal Lake, surrounded by floating gardens and shikaras canoe taxis. Life here seems peaceful on the surface, but the military presence is heavy, and conversations are guarded. Kashmir, he notes, is a place where paradise is edged with tension, a reminder of the unresolved questions of identity and belonging. Dharamshala, home of the exiled. In Dharamshala, Palin experiences another layer of India, that of a host nation to Tibetan exiles. The mountain town buzzes with Tibetan culture, monasteries, prayer flags, and resilience. He visits monks in training, observes quiet rituals, and finally has a private meeting with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Their interaction is warm and unexpectedly humorous. The Dalai Lama, often seen as a distant spiritual figure, shows curiosity, laughter, and even recalls watching British comedy, connecting on a deeply human level. This moment becomes one of the emotional high points of the journey, underlining the fusion of politics, faith, and exile. Crossroads of India. Through these stops, Palin observes the tremendous contrasts of India: opulence and poverty, ancient rituals and tech aspirations, joy and grief, spirituality and statecraft. The country defies simplification. One cannot travel through India without confronting its density of life, its layers of past and present, and its undying energy, at once chaotic and strangely harmonious. Nepal. Among the giants of Earth. In Nepal, Michael Palin is drawn into a world where life is inextricably linked to the mountains. Beginning in Kathmandu, he experiences a city that pulses with culture: ornate temples, narrow lanes, saffron-robed monks, and the hum of daily rituals. There's a sense of spirituality in the air, where ancient beliefs coexist with tourist commerce. As he treks toward the Annapurna region, the journey becomes both physically punishing and emotionally humbling. Palin walks alongside Sherpas, shares tea in village homes, and watches prayer flags flutter over suspension bridges. The thin air and vast silence remind him how small humans truly are amid these colossal peaks. The Himalayas here are not just scenery, they are a way of life. Every step is a negotiation with nature, and every village a testament to resilience. Tibet. Between heaven and resistance. Crossing into Tibet, Palin finds a land shaped by both spiritual awe and political suppression. In Lhasa, the majestic Potala Palace dominates the skyline, a former seat of the Dalai Lama and a symbol of Tibetan identity. Monks chant in monasteries, yak butter candles flicker, and ancient rituals continue under watchful state eyes. Though Tibet radiates serenity, Palin senses the underlying tension. Signs of Chinese control are everywhere, and local people speak cautiously. Yet, despite the pressure, the spiritual heart of Tibet endures. The journey to Everest Base Camp becomes a symbolic moment, a meeting point of physical struggle, natural majesty, and human perseverance. Yunnan, China. Hidden valleys and living traditions. In Yunnan, Palin discovers a softer, greener side of China. The province's deep gorges, tea fields, and high-altitude towns are home to diverse ethnic minorities, including the Naxi and Masuo people. He visits Lijiang, a city rich in tradition, and observes the matrilineal Masuo culture, where women lead families and inheritance flows through daughters. Yunnan feels like a crossroads, where Tibetan, Han Chinese, and Southeast Asian influences meet. Despite rapid modernization, Palin finds beauty in the balance between ancient custom and natural splendor. Northeast India. Untouched, fierce, and full of spirit. Re-entering India through its northeast corridor, Palin ventures into regions rarely seen by outsiders. In Nagaland, he meets former headhunting tribesmen, now navigating modern identity while holding onto tradition. In Assam, he explores lush tea gardens, river islands, and the mighty Brahmaputra River. This part of India is distinct, spiritually rich, ethnically diverse, and often politically marginalized. Yet, Palin highlights its deep warmth, raw beauty, and the quiet pride of its people. Bhutan. A kingdom of happiness and harmony. In Bhutan, Palin enters a world that seems almost untouched by time. High in the eastern Himalayas, the country measures success not by wealth but through gross national happiness. He explores serene valleys, ancient monasteries, and cliffside temples like Taktisang, Tiger's Nest, experiencing a deep sense of peace. The Bhutanese people live simply, guided by Buddhist values, environmental care, and cultural pride. For Palin, it's a rare moment of tranquility and spiritual clarity, a breath of calm in an otherwise intense journey. Bangladesh. The journey ends at the water's edge. Palin's adventure concludes in Bangladesh, a land of water, resilience, and dense humanity. He travels down the Brahmaputra River, witnessing life on boats, in markets, and along flood-prone plains. In Dhaka, the capital, he navigates chaotic streets, visits ship-breaking yards, and meets locals thriving in the face of poverty and overcrowding. Despite its challenges, Bangladesh leaves him inspired by the people's endurance, innovation, and hope. From the mountains to the sea, it's a powerful final chapter to his Himalayan odyssey. Conclusion. Himalaya is more than a record of a trek, it's a portrait of a region where human resilience meets nature's extremes. Through mountain passes, holy cities, political hotspots, and remote villages, Michael Palin captures the soul of the Himalayas. The book is rich in experience, reflection, and storytelling, perfect for anyone who dreams of both adventure and connection.